Hello everyone. So there was some discrepancy according to the admin team. So no problem. Now we can start. So first of all, this is the webinar to give you the guidance on how to progress or excel in your career. One second. So first of all, this would give you the insights of how the IT industry really works, and this would be a totally job-oriented webinar. I know the today is Sunday morning, so most of you would have plans, but bear with me for next 1 to 1.5 hours. I'll not take much time, and trust me, you would be learning something new. So, and one more thing, are you all okay? Are you all okay or comfortable with the English, or do you want English plus Hindi? What language do you want? You can type in the chat section. Okay, both. ठीक है, both English. Okay, I'll most of the things I'll tell in English, and sometimes I'll convert to Hindi or translate to Hindi. Okay, let me share my screen first. Are you able to view my screen? Okay, yes, yes. Okay, great. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Veer Sinha. I'm certified AWS Solution Architect Associate, and I'm also certified in AWS DevOps Professional. I have overall 5+ years of experience in cloud computing and DevOps architecture. Currently, I'm working as a DevOps engineer in a product based company. So, initially, I started my career at Flexera as a support engineer from eVision itself. Subsequently, I moved my career to cloud engineering and then to DevOps profile. So, I work on various tools for build and release management, even on automation and orchestration. Uh, Give me 1 minute. Okay, one message from the admin team is those who are live in YouTube, they can also comment. I'm also observing those comments. Okay, okay, so let's continue. So yes, I work on various tools for build and release management, even on automation and orchestration. And now I am using AI and ML technologies for my daily tasks. So coming to my daily tasks, on the daily task, I build Docker, I build pipeline. I'm integrating multiple stages like dev, QA, staging, UAT, trial, pre-pod, production, those things. I'm working on automation on of infra on cloud using Terraform and CFT, and also I'm using Python and shell scripting for automation. Okay, these were a lot of things, but I can assure you, बहुत सारा चीज हो गया, but I can assure you. So these are simple things. These are not rocket science. So if I can do it, so anyone can do it. Okay, okay. So I want to ask one question to all of you. What is your current job role and how many years of experience do you have? Can you please write in the chat section? I'm seeing it. Your current job role and number of years of experience. Okay, we saying 3+ year of desktop experience. Great. Desktop support engineer 2 years. Cloud administrator 2 years. Okay. System admin 5+. Desktop support. Okay. Desktop service engineer. IT executive. Support engineer. Okay. Okay. So most of you are in the support background, service background, or desktop support background. Okay. And it ranges from 1 year, 2.5 year, 3 year, 5 year, and even 6 year. I can say 6 years also. Okay. Okay, that's great. Azure Cloud also 2.5 year of experience. Good. Okay. Okay, great. Sorry. Okay, now tell me, how much hike did you get? Like average of hike did you get per year? Like in each year, how much hike did you get? You can tell the average. And those who are in the same company. Okay, Yash is saying zero. Oh, that's disappointing. No, you don't need to say about how much. No, you can say in percentage, 5%, 10%, like that. Okay, 8%, 5%, 10%, 2 to 3%, 10%. Okay, got it. So average of 5 to 10% you are getting if you are not switching to a different organization. Okay. And now tell me one thing, how many of you agree that only by obtaining skill you can excel in your career? Okay, Suraj is saying I agree. Agree, agree. And in YouTube chat section also I am observing that it's no hike or 3 or 4% of hike. Okay. Okay, great. So see, nowadays what is happening is, okay, now you can listen to me. Okay. So nowadays what is happening is I will give you the insights of how IT industry is really working. So it is constantly upgrading. The skill set which was used to require which was used to require to get a job 10 years back is not the same as of now as today's date. So 10 years back you might have been knowing that, okay, to you can learn VM or you can learn on-prem infrastructure, Windows, those infrastructure, and you can get a job easily in IT industry. But today is not the same, because the whole industry is evolving, the whole industry is upgrading. Now the challenge of today's world is how to grow in this space, how to upgrade yourself. And if you will upgrade yourself, then only you will be able to stand in today's market. Otherwise, the hike all of you have seen, it would be approximately 5 to 10%, 2%, 3%, 7%, like this. So one day or the other, you need to upgrade yourself, you need to improve yourself in the skill wise, whether you can learn a new technology or anything, but you need to work on yourself. So that is where I come into picture. I will guide you, for the experienced employee also for the fresher, what to do. And most of you might be thinking that where to start and how to start. I am not able to understand, like, from the zero, like I don't know anything, but what to do. So I'll be guiding you the whole thing. So one more thing, any of you have learned from me? Like any of you know me? I know some of the names here who has learned AWS from me, like Mohan, and let's check. Okay, Dharmendra is also there. Previously, I used to teach AWS on eVision platform. Okay. So Suraj is asking one question, skill matters the most, but my age is 30. So whether it is a chance for me. See, Suraj, you are not applying for a government job. This is an IT industry. If you are if you are on par with the requirement of any of the organization, definitely you will secure a job and you have a chance. Okay, Ghanshyam is saying he was in Azure profile. Okay, that's good. So those of people who knows me and those who don't know me, I'll tell everyone that my teaching path is from zero to the highest level. So if anyone knows something, if anyone does not know something, it does not depend on that. I will be. taking the classes from the scratch. So if even if you don't know anything, then also it's fine. I'm there for you. And if you don't understand anything, then also it's fine. I will make you understand each and everything. And after this webinar, in the last 15 minutes, I will open the mic and you can have a audio chat with me. Now I have closed for everyone so that it will not create nuisance. After my delivery, then you can ask questions whatever you want. Works for everyone? Okay, so let's proceed. So coming to what is DevOps. So before that, let me m- make you understand. So why DevOps? So what was happening before? What is happening now? Nowadays. Okay. Earlier times. Earlier times, what used to happen was there was development team. And am I speaking too fast or am I speaking too slow? Is it okay for you? Okay, okay, okay. Then let's proceed. It's normal. Okay. So previously, what was the different teams was there in IT? So one was development team, another one was testing team, coming to design team, going forward to DB team, and also support team was also there. So these many teams were there previously. And what was the old way? So I'm giving you the outlay of how DevOps came into picture. So in old way, what was there is build, test, release, operations. Build stage, test stage, release stage, operations stage. Handoff, handoff, handoff. Okay. So this was software developer lifecycle in earlier times. There were many, 4 or 5 stages: development team were there, testing team were there, design team, database team, support team. All of them were there. And to develop one application, there was one build stage. And then when the build engineers have given the handover to testing stage, they will test all the code, and then they will give the handover to release stage, and the release engineer will give the handover to operation stage, and then the operation stage will, sorry, it will be ONS. So after operation stage, then it will go to the release. So this was the previously architecture of the IT industry. And nowadays what is happening is, let me, okay, so I'll write first dev engineers, DevOps, SRE, support engineers. So nowadays what is happening is this development team and testing team, both of things are being handled by dev engineer. So at today's time, if you're a developer, you need to know both development and testing. Similarly, in today's time, if you worked on design team or database team or support team, anything, nowadays you need to know these tools, DevOps, SRE, support engineers. And you can think vice versa also. What is that? So if you are working in a design team or a DB team or a support team, everyone can move or switch your career to DevOps, SRE, or support engineers. So this is what I was trying to say. So nowadays what is happening is people are integrating, teams are integrating, people are integrating for cost optimization, for different standards. So these things are happening. So this was in on-prem and this one is mostly on cloud. Okay, up till now, any doubts? Okay, that's great. So now let's come to DevOps. So what is DevOps? It has some core principles. Let me write core principles. What are the core principles? Collaborating with multiple teams. This is not an individual work. This you need to collaborate with the multiple teams. Automation with Python and handle CI/CD, continuous integration or continuous deployment. Work on feedback, work on monitoring, work on an improved quality. These are SRE's activity. And what else? Continuous learning. We also work on cost savings. These are the core principle of DevOps. So what is the role of DevOps? I'll make you understand in the easy language. So whenever a developer has built the code, or whenever the developer has worked on their code, they must have worked in their local laptop. They have done some changes, they have worked something in their local laptop. So to make the changes from the developer code, which is present in their local laptop, to the end product, to the end product. So this is, let me write, dev code in local, and this is the end product. End product. It can be used for the end users. So DevOps work from as a bridge between this dev code, which is in local, to the end product. So this is the primary role of DevOps engineer, to take the changes, which whatever is there in the code, and to reflect to the end product. So while doing those tasks, we have some core principles like collaborating with the multiple teams. We need to work with dev engineers, testing teams, design teams, every team. So what are their challenges? What are their feedbacks? And then we need to work on those things. We need to automate many things in Python. We need to handle CI/CD. So this process is called continuous integration and continuous deployment. Developers are continuously integrating, and we are continuously deploying. So we also work on monitoring purposes. So after the end product, after the product is being launched in the market, so what is the activity which is going on? How many users are logging into your website? Let's say you have an e-commerce website, so how many users are logging? Those things are there. So those things we need to monitor. So for that part also, SRE or DevOps engineer work on those things. And also we work on cost saving. So well, let's say one time we have deployed the whole solution in any cloud service provider, and after some time, let's say I want to reduce those costs. So that part also we are handling these things. Understood? Any doubts up till now? Let me check YouTube also. Okay. Okay, no doubts. Okay. So mostly you have no doubts. So let's proceed. So now the question arises that what is the difference between DevOps engineer and SRE engineer, which is site reliability engineer? So I'll write something here. So primary roles and responsibilities of DevOps engineer is managing of tool stack. What is tool stack? I'll come later, little bit later. Security of tools. We work on reli- reliability. We work on integrations of several tools. We work on efficiency. And what does SRE engineers do? So they primarily work on monitoring. They make sure that system is uptime 365 days 24/7, 365 cross 24 cross 7, 99.99% uptime. They will ensure these things. They also work on automations. They have on-call activities too, and basically they work on post deployment. And DevOps engineer works on pre-deployment. When the product is being developed, then DevOps engineer will work. When the product is delivered for the end user, after that SRE engineer will have the roles and responsibilities. Understood, everyone? Okay, Suraj is saying please repeat. Okay. So before Suraj, before what I have discussed, that what is how the team were integrated. Previously, the dev team and test team all have been integrated to the dev engineers. So they are responsible to develop the application, and the DevOps or SRE engineers are responsible to take that changes from any source code management to the end product. So there are two profiles actually. There are DevOps engineer, there are and there is SRE engineer. So now I am discussing what is the difference between DevOps and SRE engineer. So primary roles of responsibilities of DevOps engineer is managing of tool stack. So many tools are there. So we need to manage those tools. We need to ensure the security of the tools which we are using. We also need to maintain the reliability of the tools. We need to integrate several tools. I will come to that later. What are the tools we are integrating for our work? And we need to make sure that the process is efficient. It is not like the dev team is developing some code and we are taking 5 days to take the code and to deploy it to the end product. So this is not efficient way. So we are responsible for making this whole process efficient. This is called continuous integration and continuous deployment. Continuous integration is handled by the dev team, and continuous deployment is handled by DevOps or SRE's team. And coming to SRE, they are responsible for monitoring of the product. They must maintain the system 365 days 24 into 7 hours. They must ensure that whole product is 99.99% uptime. It can happen that sometime the product can be some inconvenience might be there, but mostly they're responsible to maintain the uptime. They worked on automation. They also work on call activities, because if any error will come, they will definitely calls will come and they need to work on those things. And to summarize this, DevOps engineer, they work on pre-deployment. Pre-deployment means before the deployment, before the product is being the changes is being deployed to the end product. Before that, between the dev and before the SRE, the DevOps engineer work. And after the product is deployed, after the product is deployed to the end user, then SRE engineer works. Understood, Suraj? Okay, great. So moving on. So I have mentioned here tool stack. What do I mean by tool stack? So let me write. So now I am diving deep little bit into DevOps tools. What are the things you need to learn? What are the SRE tools? What are the things you need to learn? Those things. If you want to make a career in DevOps or SRE profile. Okay. So let me write tools. What do you need to learn? Cloud, coding, security, monitoring, mm, sorry. Okay, leave it. Reliability, scalability. Some more responsibilities of the DevOps engineer are communication skills, because you need to communicate to the different team. They should have leadership qualities. What else? Am I missing something? Definitely. Linux, troubleshooting, sorry, networking. These things DevOps engineer works on. And as I told you, I'll explain the tools. What are the tools we work on? So let me elaborate one of the stack. Okay. Okay, like this. So for source code management, we use Git, Bitbucket. I will explain everything. What is source code management? These things, everything. We use Linux, as I have written. For security and code quality, we use Sonar Cube. There are many tools and technologies which you can learn, but these are the things which is mostly used. Okay, for CI/CD, Jenkins is there, Bitbucket pipeline is there, Argo CD is there. These things are there. For containerization, anyone knows what is the tool we use for containers? Anyone? Great. Docker, good. Kubernetes, good. That's great. Yes, you are all correct. Docker. Let's come here. So for orchestration, Kubernetes. In cloud, you should know AWS or Azure. For automation, you should know Python, shell scripting. Coding, definitely Python. And if you want to take in a your career in a great heights, then you can learn Go also. Go is also very much in demand in today's world. For monitoring, any tools you can suggest? Monitoring, any of you know? GitLab is also CI/CD tool, but that is not being used in the most of the organization. Nagios, Grafana, Prometheus, good, good, great. You know stuff. Grafana, Prometheus, ELK stack, Open Telemetry, these things for monitoring purposes. Coming to, okay, where I should write. So is my screen visible? Like I will write here. Is it visible to everybody? Just give me a heads up. Yes, correct, Sai. For DevOps, you need to learn Python programming. In 2025, without Python, there is no chance to get a job in a DevOps profile. So is my screen visible? Like I have reduced the font size. Is it okay? Okay, yes. Okay. So yes, yes, Ansible and all are coming. I will write one by one. Infrastructure as a code, CFT, Terraform. Configuration management, Ansible. Coming to repository, Docker Hub, ECR, JFrog, those things. In database, we use MySQL. So these are overall tools and technologies which we use in a daily basis. And to get a job in a DevOps profile, you need to know at least these things. For source code management, Git, Linux, and for code quality, Sonar Cube at least, CI/CD, Jenkins, Bitbucket pipeline, Argo CD, anything. Container, you need to know what is Docker to orchestrate those container. So Kubernetes, cloud, you need to know AWS or Azure. Automation, you need to know Python cell scripting. Coding, definitely Python is a mandatory. Monitoring, you need to know Grafana, Prometheus, CLK, Open Telemetry, those things. And infrastructure as a code tool, you need to learn CFD, Terraform. For configuration management, you need to learn Ansible. Repository, you need to learn Docker Hub, ECR, JFrog, those things. For DB, at least MySQL, you need to know. So lots of tools and technologies are there. But don't be scared. So every tools and technologies you can learn. And this is the only way to get a job, because nowadays most of the as I said, most of the teams are integrating. So as a DevOps engineer, you need to know these things. No, like let's say some of you are like you fear Python or you fear coding. That is okay. That is valid reason. But you need to draw a line, like how much coding you require as a DevOps engineer. It cannot be same as a developer knows this much of coding. It won't be same as a developer, but still you need to know coding, because if some error will come, then how the workflow works, if there is a Python language, how the code works, what is requirement.txt, what do I mean by Docker file, what do I mean by Jenkins file, those things you need to know. After that only you will be able to troubleshoot, or else you won't be able to troubleshoot. So these things are required, and how much you need to know at that point of time, I will come into picture. Okay, up till now, everyone, please zoom little bit. Okay, I will open a new paint and then I'll write. Okay, so moving towards, so I have prepared one slide here. So this is the DevOps syllabus. I have discussed the agenda. Today's agenda is today's agenda, or the whole course agenda is, every 95% of the things will be based on practical based learning. I'll be using real time life projects. I'll be helping you on resume enhancement and Naukri profile optimization. I will be also helping in mock interviews and job assistance. So first of all, as I told you, Python programming. So the main thing is you need to know how much you need to learn for to crack a job interview. Because see, I have written 12 or 15 tools. You cannot learn each and everything, because if you are taking one tool, it will take around 3 or 4 months to learn one tool in depth. But that is not that much is not required. So how much is required, what is required, for that part I have prepared this slide. So Python programming, you will be learning these things. And okay, before going to these slides, let me discuss something about let's say SDLC. What is SDLC? Do you know the full form of SDLC? Anyone? Yes, correct. Software developer lifecycle. Good. So our job is to enhance the process of software development. I'll discuss one small thing. Anyways, in class we will discuss the whole thing in details, but small things. How the software developer or how the software development works. So imagine this is a train, and these are the coaches. So if you want to go from one coach, and if you want to enter here, and if you want to exit here, you need to pass all the stages here. If one of the gates is closed, or if one of the stages is failed, then you won't be able to pass into next stage, and then you won't be able to exit. So here you can understand, this one is software development, and here if I come, this one is product. And what are the stages of the train? What is this thing? What is this? What is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? So I'll write here. What are these things? So whenever a developer writes the code and pushes to the GitHub, GitHub is a source code management where developer stores the code in a remote, like in a cloud. I'll tell you in the details in the class, but as of now, just see. First stage is push the code in any source code management. Second step is run test cases. Third step is generate. This is a general software developer lifecycle which I'm talking about. Generate a coverage dot xml file for code coverage. Okay. After that, upload to SonarQube. And if get the result from the SonarQube, and if the result is satisfied, if the result is passed, then only if result is passed, then only let's say you have a Python file and you have a Docker file. So let's say build a Docker, then push the image to ECR or Docker Hub, then deploy the image to EC2 or any VM or EKS or ECS. EKS stands for Kubernetes Container Service. Those things are there. So these are layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Sorry, of my mouse. Layer 4, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7, layer 8. If one of those things fails, then the pipeline will not run. And if the code is not deployed to any EC2, VM, EKS, ECS, then it won't be reflected in the end result in the product. So this is a general software developer lifecycle, like how the code works. Understood? SCM is source code management, Shubham. All right. Source code management. Example is Git, where the developer stores their code. Why do they need to store their code? Why can't they store in their local? Because let's say after some period of time, let's say their computer got damaged, so all of the work will be lost, right? So all the developer, let's say 4 5 10 developers are there developing into one, like working on one repository. They push their code to a source code management tool on the server, so that each and every day anybody can track what are their progress. Understood? Okay, great. So moving ahead, so now let's come to this one. So Python programming, I have already told. So how much you need to learn is the more important, most important thing, rather than what are the tools you are learning. So after this Python programming, what we will do is we will come to Boto 3, AWS Boto 3. And what is this one Boto 3? It is a API call developed for the AWS. So after you learn the Python programming, let's say you want to automate something on AWS. So for that purpose, you need to learn this Boto 3, and these are the pillars. See, Python programming, Boto 3, these are the pillars. If you are okay, or if you have learned these things in a good way, then rest of the things will just follow. These are the basics. So these are, let's say, the you can understand the pillars of all the DevOps. After that, the tools will be like it will get added, and then you can learn, then you can enhance your skill. But these things you need to know. So Boto 3 is nothing but the integration of Python with the AWS. Let's say you want to automate something in AWS. So let's say you want to create some infrastructure. Let's say you want to delete some infrastructure. Let's say you want to extract some information of the existing infrastructure. For that purpose, we use Boto 3. Coming to, so infrastructure as a code tool. What is infrastructure as a code tool? Here we can use CFT. Anyone can describe what is infrastructure as a code? Will the DevOps course will also be conducted in a mix of Hindi and English, or will it be exclusive in the English language? No, Dinesh. It like I can. My mother tongue is Hindi. I can speak English. In the course, Obviously, I will turn on, like, any all of you can speak, and if you are facing any issue, I will translate to Hindi. Since it is a demo, I have not turned on the mic for all of you, but in the live classes, you can interrupt me and then I can translate. But mostly it will be English. But if you are facing issue, you can ask me. Is it okay? Yes, Kancham is saying we use tools like Terraform to write a code to build infrastructure on AWS or Azure or VM or anything. That is correct. Good. So yes, what is infrastructure as a code tool? Let's say for your project, you need some infrastructure to be developed. Let's say you need some VMs, you need some EC2, or you need some things. EC2, VM, EKCC, something. So either what you can do is you can go in the console, you can click, and then you can create those infrastructure. Or else what you can do is you can write a code in a YAML format or a JSON format. You can write a code. You can deploy this code in a CloudFormation template or Terraform. Terraform is used to deploy the code to any of the cloud service provider. But yes, you can deploy the code, and after deploying the code, no need, just after deploying this code, automatically in the backend, all the infrastructure will be created. What is the use of this infrastructure as a code tool? Let's say you want to work in cross environments, and it is not that you are working on 4 or 5 infras. There are hundred of infras in one project, and it might happen that you can forget, like, let's say you have developed all the infra in a dev environment, and let's say you want to replicate those things in QA or production, right? So in the dev environment, everything is working fine, and let's say you have done in the basis, you have not written a infrastructure as a code tool, or you have not used Terraform. So what you will do is, again, you will go to QA and you will create those 100 infra, whatever you did in dev. It might happen, human error might come, that you might have missed something. Then your product won't be replicated in QA or in production environment. So to overcome those challenges, we use infrastructure as a code tool. There, let's say you have written code once it code is working in dev environment. So this code will work in any environment, in any account, cross region, cross environment, anything. If your code is correct, then you can replicate those things within few minutes. So that is infrastructure as a code. So in AWS we use CFD, but we will learn Terraform because Terraform is in demand. So we will learn Terraform. What are the plugins in the Terraform? What is state file? What is backup strategies? What is variable files? Those things we will learn in Terraform, which also comes as infrastructure as a code tool. Coming to Ansible, what is Ansible? Can anybody tell me? Ansible? Any idea? What is ECR? ECR is Elastic Container Registry. See, after Docker is created and Docker is built, you need to store that image into a certain repository. And that repository can be Docker Hub or ECR. ECR is proprietary tool of AWS. Your image is being kept in the ECR. Same, the logic is same. For code, you are storing in Git. For Docker image, you are storing in ECR or Docker Hub. Why use Terraform? I told now only. In these tools, which one of we will learn each and every tools. Whatever I have written, not only here in the slides, I have written less number of tools, but previously I have written here 14 or 15 tools. Everything we will be learning. Without learning each and everything, you won't be able to become a DevOps engineer. So why use Terraform? Amardeep is asking. So as I told you, Terraform and CFT both are used for the same purpose. This is infrastructure as a code tool. CFT is a proprietary of AWS. So if you are learning CFT, you can only write a code to deploy infrastructure on AWS environment. Coming to Terraform, if you learn Terraform, then you can write a code to deploy the infrastructure in any of the cloud service provider. Might it be AWS, might it be Azure, might it be GCP. So you need to learn both. Mostly Terraform. We keep in private Docker Hub. Yes, correct, Strugan. We can keep in private Docker Hub also. Okay. So I asked what is Ansible. Anybody knows what is Ansible? Just the basics. Anybody? Okay, no problem. I'll tell. So see, Ansible is configuration management tool. What is the use of configuration management? What is Ansible? So I'll explain you. Let's say there are 100 of VMs or 100 of servers in one organization, in one project. One new requirement came, and that requirement is deploy HTTP service, Apache service, Docker or Python in hundreds of servers, because 100 developers are there. 100 developers will be developing their code, but they are not responsible to install those things. Let's say they want to work on Python, they are not responsible to install Python and those things. You need to do those things. So it is not uh, easy to deploy to install each and everything for the 100 servers. It is not easy, right? So here Ansible comes into picture. Here what is the outlay is, one server you can create as a master server, and 99 servers you can create as a slave servers or a worker servers. And then if you will install Ansible correctly in all the servers, then in the master server, let's say you are writing Ansible playbook, and then you are saying in master server that I want HTTP service, I want Apache service, I want Nginx service, I want Docker, I want Python, I want Java, I want Git. These things I want to be installed in 99 of the servers. Rest of the servers, within few clicks you will be able to do. And that is where Ansible plays the important role. It is push pull based tools. Here manual work is less. Secondly, the time is less. If you are manually installing those things, it might take 2 or 3 days. Within Ansible it might take few hours, not few hours, few minutes, 30 minutes to 40 minutes max. So that is where Ansible comes into picture. Understood? Yes, correct. Ansible tool is used to write config and automation file. That is correct. Okay, moving forward. These things I have just written, like what are the pillars and what is the description. Anyways, when we will be learning in details, and not only these tools. In the middle of these tools, let's say Docker, Kubernetes, SonarQube, I have not written. Many things I have not written. Most of the things, like I have written only 20 to 30% of the things here, but the things which I have written previously here, 15 services, 15 tools, those everything we will learn. So moving ahead. Now Jenkins is a CI/CD pipeline. So you remember I have drawn, okay, here only I have drawn train. So these things you want in your organization to function, but you cannot go to each and every coaches and you cannot see, okay, this stage is passed, so let's push the code to a different coach or different stage. Okay, let's say this stage is passed, let's push the code to a different stage. This you cannot do manually. You need automation here. There that is where Jenkins or any pipeline comes into picture. Bitbucket pipeline, Jenkins pipeline, code pipeline, or any pipeline, it comes into picture. What it does is, in that pipeline you can write steps. Okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. This I'm just telling from the bird's eye view, or very upper view, but you will learn many things inside Jenkins. So let's say you have written 10 steps. Okay, so after executing this pipeline, it will refer to that Jenkins file and it will execute step number 1. Then it will execute step number 2. Then it will execute step number 3. If step number 3 fails, it will not execute the rest of the steps. If all the steps you have written is passed, then only your pipeline will run successfully, and the development which happened in the uh, code of the developer will reflect in the product. And what are these steps? These are these steps. But generally, these are these steps. It may vary from organization to organization, or it may vary from requirement of the project to requirement. But generally, it is these steps. So check out to the Git, run the test cases, generate the coverage.xml file, upload to the SonarQube. If the result is passed, build a Docker file, push the image to ECR, Docker Hub, anything, and then deploy the image to EC2, VM, EKS, ECS, each and anything. This is a backend pipeline. For front end, these things are different. Front end, I have not written. I'll explain little later in the batch. But this is the general pipeline. So for that purpose, Jenkins is used. Here we will learn installation of Jenkins in Linux and Windows. What is global tool configuration? How jobs are created? What is Groovy scripting? What is plugin? Those things we will learn. So coming to next, we are coming to Docker. What is Docker and what is Kubernetes? These two are last two things. So see, what is Docker? So let's say you are a developer, okay, and you want to write a code in a Python language. Python language. Okay. So firstly, what you need to know, and if you know little bit about the code, then there are some dependencies. There are some libraries which is used to run the code. So initially, if you have a VM or a EC2 instance, what you will do is, or your local laptop also, anything you can consider. What you will do is, first you to run the Python language, Python code, you need to install Python. Am I right or wrong? Install Python. Then only Python will learn. Next step is to run the code. Let's say there are some dependencies. Let's say the dependencies are Matplotlib, OpenAI, or anything. So to support the code which you have written, there must be some dependencies. So you need to install those dependencies. Install dependencies, and then you need to run the Python code. Then only your Python code will run. And here I have written only 3 steps. There are lots of steps here in like intermediate steps. I am not going into details. I'm the primary motive is to make you understand that what is Docker. So focus on these things. So these things you need to do to run your Python code. Let's say you have run your Python code, it is working fine in your local laptop. Okay. But another person, another of your team member also want to run your code into their system. There can be several developers. They are developing, you are all developing the same application. So it is not that one work you have done, so rest of the team will do the same work. They will carry forward this work. Let's say in a code, let's say 100 lines are there. You are developing 5 lines. Next, your different colleague are your other colleagues are developing next 5 lines. Your other colleagues are developing next 5 lines. It works like that. So to run this Python code, what they will do is they will also install Python in their VMs. They will also install the same dependencies which is present in your VM, and they, after that they will run the Python code. There might be the mismatch of Python language and the dependencies which they are installing. Let's say in your VM the Python language is so Python version is 3.7, and let's say your friends or your colleague the Python version is 3.11. The dependencies which you have installed is related to Python version 3.7. That is working fine. But whenever he is installing those dependencies in the Python version 3.11, those dependencies are not being installed and the code is not run. So versioning mismatch, language mismatch used to come on a daily basis. For that purpose, Docker is solving these things. What it does is, now I'll explain, is it will create a container and it will install Python. Whatever you did manually here, it will install Python, it will install dependency, it will run the code. This is simple Docker file. And all the other colleagues or all the other VMs or all the other instances, you just need to install Docker. You just need to install Docker. You just need to install Docker. Once Docker is installed, you can directly run this image to any of the VM. Then it will not matter that what is the infrastructure of the VM, what is the architecture of the VM. It will not matter. Once the Docker file is made and once the Docker is okay, it's running fine. You can run this Docker in any VM, in any other laptop, in any other cloud. You can also run Docker from AWS to Azure. You can also make a VM in Azure. You can also make a VM in instance. You can use the same Docker file to run in AWS, to run in Azure, to run in GCP, anywhere. Just one prerequisite is you need to install Docker. That's it. Understood? In this you mentioned we have to learn AWS Azure, so we will be teaching, or we have to learn this. Okay, I will be teaching. See, if you are going with only with cloud knowledge, so there is a lots of things. I'll be only teaching from the DevOps perspective, how much you need. You can't expect that I will teach each and everything in Azure, or teach each and everything in AWS, because individual these things takes 3 months. But from the DevOps perspective, how much is required, what is required, that I'll be teaching. No need to learn anything in my class. No need to learn anything. I'll be teaching you from scratch. If you know AWS, that's fine. I will teach you Azure. If you know Azure, that's fine. I'll teach you AWS. Hi, sir. I can say duration of the course is 3 months. I'll take these questions. Will it be possible to complete all the mentioned duration? If I ask, okay, I'll take these questions. No problem. I will give you the time. I will unmute you, everyone, and you can ask me these questions. First, let me finish this. So, understood, Docker, each and everyone? Okay, let's move forward. I'll just take 4 or 5 more minutes, and then I'll open the section. Kubernetes is container orchestration. What do you mean by this one? So, previously, Docker was there in the picture, but it does not have a good life cycle. Let's say reliability, let's say scalability. Let's say you want to have the uptime of your backend or front end image each and every time. For that purpose, Kubernetes came into picture. Kubernetes in itself is an ocean. Everything you can learn, but Kubernetes you need to have a space, like you have to be attentive, and you have to invest more of your efforts in Kubernetes. Anyways, I will be taking Kubernetes in this session. Introduction of Kubernetes and EKC. What is EKCTL? kubectl command. What is pod? What is deployment? What is services, namespaces, storage, persistent volume, PVC claim, end-to-end application support, Helm chart. Those things I'll be taking. Coming to projects, each and everything which we will learn is from projects. So I have written some projects, infrastructure of automation with Python and AWS. Let's say client is there. The requirement of the project details. So each and everything which we will be learning, I'll be creating a project out of it, and then you will solve this project after learning a specific tool. So this is for Python and AWS. Coming to AWS essentials, let's say for let's say TCS infrastructure engineer needs on hands-on training on core AWS services, and the project is to install these each and everything by Terraform or CFD, those things. So these things you need to do. Coming to disaster recovery and multi-account access, this is one different project where the requirement of the client is you need a robust disaster recovery strategy for the critical banking server. So for that purpose, you need to make sure that RTO is up, RPO is up, automatic DR using Lambda function, using CloudWatch rule, cross account access using AWS IAM rule. So firstly, we will learn these things, and then we will integrate in the project. So many projects have prepared. For configuration management, Ansible. Let's say client is Dell, and requirement of the client is Dell needs to automate server configuration and security updates across its infrastructure. So this is the requirement, and you need to deliver this one. Coming to Jenkins, same requirement. Infosys wants to implement CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins for Python-based projects or Java-based project. So for that purpose, what you need to do is you need to set up an integration with GitHub, running build automatically on code commit, and parameterize Jenkins project for infrastructure automation. Moving forward, Terraform for infrastructure as a code tool. I have written like we can create a project like this, and what is the requirement, and we can solve these things. Similarly for Docker also, for Kubernetes also. These are some basic project which I have written. We will be learning more than this one. Now some of the questions I will answer some of the questions, and then I'll open the section for everyone to ask questions. Now who can join here? Who can join the session? So anyone who is fresher, anyone who is experienced, anyone who is willing to learn, who is willing to move their career to a next height, they can join this uh, course. What is the salary structure? Next question. So salary structure, what is the salary structure? So if you are going with 2 or 3 years of experience, you can expect the salary of around 7 to 10 LPA. And I think most of you have 2 or 3 years of experience, so you can go ahead with 7 to 10 LPA. And moving forward, let's say your career progresses, and let's say you are 5 years or 10 years of experience, then your career will skyrocket. 15 LP, 20 LP is just the touchdown. What is current options? So current options, see, if you are learning only AWS or Azure, or if you are learning only on-prem things, so there are not many current options. But if you are integrating these tools to your CV, and if you know these tools, so your options will widen out. Let's say, let's go to Naukri, and I'll prove you. I will write DevOps engineer, search. Let's open few of the companies. Wipro is a good company. Accenture, Electric, HCL Tech, Cognizant. Okay, let's go to each and every company, and let's see what are the things they are demanding. DevOps, continuous integration, DevOps engineer, IT infra, customer service, continuous deployment, customer support. Each and everything you will learn in details. They have not mentioned many skills, but the overall things are these things, as I have written in the slide also, and I have told all the tools and technologies which we will learn, all will come here. Coming to Accenture, what are they demanding? See, they are demanding continuous integration. Obviously, you will learn CI/CD, you will learn cloud technologies, AWS, Azure, you need to learn Docker, you will learn DevOps, you will learn container, you will learn Kubernetes, Python, C Python here. Software development, you need version control. Version control is Git, what I was saying. Microsoft Azure, AWS, AWS Cloud Formation, Ansible, high availability, Git, Swarm, Docker Swarm. It is similar to like Kubernetes is the alternative. Jenkins, GitLab, Terraform, Bash scripting, AWS, CI/CD pipeline. 95% of the things we will cover here. Going to a different, let's say it's CL Tech. Okay, they have not written much. Okay, here only. See, Puppet is alternative of Ansible. So you can learn Ansible also. Ansible is widely used, so learn Ansible. That would be beneficial. Jenkins, AWS DevOps, Docker, Terraform, continuous delivery, continuous integration, DevOps tools, CI/CD, Kubernetes. Mostly, all the DevOps job will revolve around these key skills, and you need to master these key skills. You can open 10 or 15 jobs, and you can make a PDF, you can make an Excel sheet, you can filter out, and in each and every job role, these are the requirements. Let's go to Cognizant. Let's see what they are demanding. CI/CD methodology, same. Terraform, DevOps, AWS DevOps, AWS Cloud, GCP, Azure Cloud, Cloud Migration, Azure DevOps, GCP Cloud. So everything you cannot learn, GCP you cannot learn, but okay, no problem. If you are okay with one like whole DevOps and one cloud, either may it be AWS or Azure, you are fine with it. You can go ahead and you can apply. So you are you able to see like what are the requirement and what we will be learning? Those things are options. What you can do now. What is future? What is the future of DevOps? So future of DevOps is AI ops, ML ops. So after, let's say you have made, like you are working in a DevOps engineer, as a DevOps engineer, you can learn AI tools, you can learn ML tools, and these are the future. 2025 is the year of agents, as you can, most of you, like, I don't know how many of you know, Satya Nadella said 2025 is the year of AI agents. So now AI and ML is coming into picture. Previously, DevOps was there when no cloud was there, but DevOps was there. When cloud came into picture, the methodologies changed, but the DevOps was still there. Currently, AI and ML is coming into picture. DevOps will be there. The method will change. The tools and technologies will change. How you deliver will change, but the method will be same. So that is why invest into a profile which will remain. When can you get a job? See, that is the most crucial thing. 70% of the effort will be done by me. 30% will be the effort which is expected by you. You need to make notes, you need to learn, you need to give 2 or 3 hours of dedicated learning each and every day. at least 4 to 5 months you will be needing to get a job. You can expect from me, what you can expect from me, you can expect from me is resume enhancement. You can expect for how to apply. You can expect for how to modify your Naukri profile, your LinkedIn profile. These things I'll guide, but the effort you need to put, you need to make a CV. I've obviously I will guide you, but you need to make the CV that is ATS compliant. You can take the roles and responsibilities of these companies, whatever company you like. Let's say this Accenture you like, you can take this roles and this requirement, and you can go to ChatGPT or any AI tool, and you can enter this one and just ask, give me roles and responsibilities for these requirement. It will give 4 or 5 things. You can go to different company, there also you can take 4 or 5 roles and responsibilities. You need to integrate those things, you need to make it shorter, and then you need to keep it to the CV. So CV enhancement and these enhancement will be guided by me and done by you. Most of you should have questioned that, okay, I have a support experience, I don't have cloud experience. But if you have experience of, let's say, at least 1.5 years, then you can modify your resume. You need to modify as such that you have in the last 1.5 years, 2 years or 3 years, you have worked in the DevOps profile, and then you need to apply those things. If you have more than 5 or 6 years of experience, then you need to distribute those things, like 2 plus 3. 2 years you have worked on-prem, and for the last 3 years you are working on a DevOps profile in cloud infra, in automation, in whatever the tools, roles and responsibilities we will discuss, that you can write. But 2 to 3 years or maximum 3.5 years will be the ideal time, like will be the ideal duration for to make a switch in the DevOps profile. Going forward, what is next? So see, after this, because first time we are teaching in the evasion, so we don't know what would be the response from the from you guys. But if the response is good, then what I can do is, if most of the students are interested, then I can do is I can launch a separate course for, especially for Kubernetes. Because in Kubernetes, if you will go here, it will be lot. So you cannot learn Kubernetes in 3 months. Like, you can learn Kubernetes, but you need to give a special attention to Kubernetes. So if you want to learn Kubernetes in details, Docker in Kubernetes, then after this course I will launch a different course that will only target Docker, Kubernetes, and it will only target monitoring tools like Prometheus, Grafana. Here also you will learn more the basics of Prometheus, Grafana, those things. But there you will also be eligible for SRE profile. In SRE profile, they will be asking in details, like what you have done in monitoring, what you have how you have used Prometheus, how have you used those things, they will ask. In Kubernetes they will ask. So that would be the next step. But learning only this thing, you will be eligible for applying to a job. But if you really want to enhance your skill, like let's say if you really want to learn Kubernetes, you want to crack that certified Kubernetes administrator certificate, CK, those things, if you want, then you can learn Kubernetes also. But it will depend like how many of you are interested. I will launch a separate dedicated course for Kubernetes. Here I will teach you the basics which is required for the DevOps engineer. Docker, Kubernetes, monitoring tools, everything I'll teach, but whatever is required for the DevOps engineer, that I'll do. And summarizing it, what is the eVision role? What's next is, see, I was at your place at once. I know how to make the career transition. I did it thrice actually. I have a real-time exposure. Firstly, I joined as a support engineer, as I already told. I joined in Flexera. Then I made a career transition in cloud engineer. After that, I made a career transition in DevOps profile. So all the knowledge that I have accumulated from various sources of learning, and the knowledge that I have gained from my past experiences, work experiences, everything I will be compiling and sharing with you guys in 3 to 4 months in a packaged format. So you can learn various services. You can go to any sources. It's not mandatory to learn from here only. You can go to any sources. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Udemy, or also you can join any organization which is charging highly. Let's say Simply Learn or Edureka, anything. But the free courses are, there is a catch in the free courses. They will not teach the whole thing. You need to gather information from many of the sources. Let's say some of them are teaching this content in a good way. The rest of the teachers are they're teaching another tool in a good way. So time will take more and more. And if you are going with a paid version for, let's say, simply learn or edureka, so there they are charging hell lot of money, and they are also taking hell lot of time also. 7 8 months, 1 year also time, 1 years of also time. And here what I come into picture, there is a fine line between how much you need to learn. Anyone can, like any technology, if you take Ansible, Terraform, CFD, anything you can take, you can learn for 3 or 4 months if you take one technology. But that is not the ideal thing to do, because in DevOps profile there are lots of topics, lots of technologies. Each technologies are increasing day by day, day by day, day by day. So there is a fine line between how much you need to learn for each topic from the DevOps perspective, for 3 to 4 years of experience, not more than that, not less than that. And there what I will guide you what to do. So smart learning is required, guys. Understood, everyone? So that is what you can expect from me. And finally, as I always tell, to achieve something great, you need to start taking steps. Even it is a small one, it does not matter, but you need to start taking steps and you need to remain constant on those things. Then only you will be able to excel in your career. Okay, now I will give the permission to ask questions. You can ask questions. Wait 1 second. Let me tell the team. Live recording can be ended now. So let's come to the chat section. So Akshay is asking, hi sir, as I can see the duration will of course will be on 3 months.